So, unfortunately, I have discovered some issues or certain weaknesses in both the V-Trigger 1 and the V-Trigger 2. Mainly V-Trigger 1. Some of the tools are not quite as strong as I thought they were, or after testing I realized that there were ways around them. Specifically, now I figured throughout the entire time that you could V-reversal this sequence of, this pressure sequence very easily, and that, you know, you would probably, most characters would probably be V-reversaling to get out of it, especially in the corner, to avoid the vicious throw cycle. But I was not aware with certain weaknesses, or I really should have realized this because I already talked about how hard punch into Canonen is bad, and forward fierce into Panzer is bad, but I didn't think about the ways that characters can get around jumping medium punch into Jaeger. Now that being said, Jaeger is much harder to react to and then deal with, per se. I mean, most characters can, but basically it's the same problem. So, unlike, so you can jump out of this if you block the jumping medium punch. Unlike her hard punch into Canonen, however, it's slightly better for her. She can actually anti-air with EX Schneide. She'll usually get trades if she tries regular Schneide. But the problem is the opponent is usually, even at max range, the opponent is usually too close, and doing the Schneide will just cause it to whiff underneath them, unless she uses the EX one. And even then, some characters have ways of baiting out this. Like Ryu can do his heavy kick Tatsu in the air and go clear over any of her anti-airs, even her super. Rashid can do that to bait out the super. Or Rashid can just get a clean punish with that again. However, most other punishes won't be quite as prominent. However, it's still pretty bad for Falke. It's not a real setup, actually. So that's one problem. That being said, you can still obviously use the Jaeger as a sort of dive kick in situations like this. Jumping medium punch is still a great button, and you can still bait out the opponent to do things if you occasionally use jumping medium punch into Jaeger, and it should be fine, but it's not something you can really abuse. And after that, we have problems with the sequences of frame traps that are very easily V-reversalable. The medium kick or any button into the V-scale, in addition to the V-scale into the Schrott. They're all very easy for every character to V-reversal. However, it's much worse for Falke if she's doing against characters that have evasive V-reversals. Characters with evasive V-reversals, every single character that has an evasive V-reversal can outright punish this. At either part. Either the medium kick into V-scale they can punish it, or the V-scale into Schrott they can punish it. However, the disadvantage of V-scale into Schrott will not be as bad. As you can see, Rashid's only +6 after V-reversaling that. Similarly, characters with evasive V-reversals are very good at blowing up any of her pokes into the Panzer if they're not properly hit confirmed. You can do that on reaction to the Panzer. Akuma can also use his V-reversal if cancelled a little late to go over the gunshot and still be plus enough to get a punish. Nash's V-reversal is a lot slower than the rest of the cast in terms of the evasive ones, so at best, off of the medium kick, he can be +6, which lets him get that, and off of the V skill, he can be -5 at best. In mid-screen, Vega's V-reversal won't really let, well, he can get a punish with a slide, per se. It's difficult for him to get much of anything else. So there's just barely enough time from, because when you side switch, you lose your charge input the way you were holding, and you have more time on the first one since you're +25 to get your charge back, so that you can cancel the heavy punch into the Sotoja. But on this one, you have just enough time to charge up a medium Sotoja, like so, if you're canceling the heavy punch as late as possible. So Falke still, even against those characters, Falke still has plenty of strengths that she can utilize in V-Trigger 1, because she can just play her normal game plan without using the pressure sequences, but the pressure sequences, especially in the corner, are a big part of what makes her V-Trigger 1 really strong. And the mix-ups that she can go for are really dependent on canceling. Her maximum damage and maximum stun output is really dependent on canceling things into those gunshots, even on block, to keep them safe or make them plus. Which means that if you're against characters that can punish you just by V-reversaling those. So if Falke does, say, just the medium kick into V-skill without canceling it into the Shrot in V-Trigger 1, none of the people, if they do their V-reversals on the characters with evasive V-reversals, if they do it on the V-skill, they won't be able... Falke will be able to still punish them for it, but she has to make a dedicated read to not do cancel into the Shrot, which is dangerous because the V-skill is -10. Same thing with the medium kick. She can do medium kick without canceling it into the V-skill, and she'll still be able to punish V-reversals that are looking to capitalize on that. But it's still not the best, especially when like the mix-up is like trying to figure out to bait the opponent into doing a V-reversal when Falke is going to be punished if she makes the wrong read. So So it's not exactly a great situation to do those sequences and use V-Trigger 1 against the characters that can punish it like that. That being said, she can still play her normal game plan, and the V-Trigger 1 shots will give her better Oki and better damage and stun for all of her normal stuff. But if you're just going to use that, it's probably often a better idea to, in those particular matchups, to just use V-Trigger 2. And now I will demonstrate the matchups in which it's not a good idea to use V-Trigger 2. Specifically, it's not a good idea to use... So it's usually a better option to go for V-Trigger 2 than V-Trigger 1 if you're worried about the maximum ability to punish you, because V-Trigger 2 just enhances like her damage, corner carry, conversions, getting knockdowns off of... it just enhances her ability to play her normal game, and gives her her overhead that's plus on block and goes over fireballs. And a really bad projectile reflector. But other than that, you know, she just plays her normal game, but a lot better. And she can take the opponent to the corner and do a lot more damage. So her V-Trigger 2 is a lot less risky to just use all of its use its baseline options without necessarily going to the overhead. However, as a pressure extension. However, if you are going to be using it, which you're probably going to be using the overhead to do pressure or mix-ups or go for fireballs, it's probably a better idea to do not use it against characters that can punish it with parries, that have easy ways to react to it. You could do the second loop of the charged back heavies. I'm just bad at it. I don't know any of the carrying combos off of her parries, but and then there's characters that just have moves that they can easily react to, easily react with, and punish or get underneath the overhead with. Like Birdie can release Zonk, and Dalsum can do his crouching medium kick to slide underneath it and get a whiff punish once he's on the other side. So yeah, some of the, you know, a lot of drawbacks to the V-triggers in certain matchups that remove a lot of the tools that you get in those V-triggers. So in certain matchups, you should probably go for one or the other, because of if you're doing V-trigger 1, you probably really want to be able to use this the pressure that it allows you to get. And if you're using V-Trigger 2, then you probably want to be able to at least swing with the overhead from time to time. Either as a cancel or just in neutral. So, plan your matchup accordingly. And, yeah. Don't do things that are punishable.